Everybody, welcome to another episode of Reppin with Gina G, a show where I rep my teams by the Bay. In this episode, I'll be repping the Golden State Warriors. As you may or may not know, I'm a hardcore Dubs fan. I proudly celebrated the most recent 4 championships of the Warriors dynasty. So let's repeat. The NBA season is just shy of a dozen games into the season, and it's not looking too good for the defending champs as of late. Although they beat the Sacramento Kings at home on Monday night, they are in 13th place with a record of 4-7. They went on a fairly somewhat easy schedule, so it seemed to be. It was it was a 5-game road trip. We thought we were going to win those easy games, but it was a winless streak. Their defense is currently ranked at 29, which is a stark contrast to how they ended last season. And tomorrow night, they face the Cleveland Cavaliers while still at home. But this is not going to be an easy match. The Cavs are a formidable team as they are in second place in the Eastern Conference behind the Bucks. With newly acquired shooting guard Donovan Mitchell, he is proving that the Cavs are no longer the sleeper team of last season. So I've got a great episode for you. I'm joined by some great guests. And if you follow my show and you've seen my NFL series, like with the 49ers, how I rep that team, you'll notice a few of familiar guests. I have my Cavs fan, and he's also a Browns fan. I want to start off by introducing Evan Brogdon, repping the Cleveland Cavaliers. What up, Evan? Are you on mute?
Let them know. Yeah, I was on mute. My bad. But yeah, thanks for having me on the show today. I'm excited.
Great to have you back. You know, I love when you bring your energy and everything. So it's good to be back. And then we had someone for you to rep with you, but hey, I know you could hold it down by yourself. So next I'm going to call in some familiar faces. Also, my Golden State Warriors family. Ladies first, we're going to bring on Shell. Welcome in, sis.
Hi. Yeah.
She's got her Oakland on. I love it.
Yes. Thank you for inviting me. Hi, Evan. Nice to meet you. Boo with the Cavs. Boo.
I think you guys were on the same show a while back, no? Or maybe just in the chat? Or
No. We were a while back doing a recap of I think it was a Monday night game.
Yeah, it was an overreaction show, I think. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And next, we have another familiar face, but last time he was repping the Atlanta Falcons, who's also right now on Amazon Prime's Thursday Night Football against the Panthers. And, well, if you're watching, it's 9-13. Panthers are up. I'm sure he's not happy about that. Former D. Lyman at Stanford, broadcaster and associate producer at the Warriors, Jordan Watkins.
Yeah.
And Dubs fan. And, I'm so sorry.
As soon as you said they're down 9-13, they gave up a touchdown. So there goes.
Yep.
Oh,
hey,
shit.
everyone. Hi.
I was watching it when she said it. I was like, oh, make that 20-9.
Well, at least you're on here for the defending champs, the, Golden State Warriors. I was going to call them San Francisco, but yeah. But hey, I mean, we've got a great show, and I'm so excited about it because this is my second show on the Warriors. The first show we had Bonte Hill, and that one was a great show. So I want to make sure that everyone hits that like button, joins in the live chat, and comments on the playback. And please subscribe. We've got Tanya in the chat. Hey, sis, she says, we have shooters. The shooters, our defense is what fell apart, and the fouls need to stop. Amen. So we've got to get that defense back up. And thank you so much for joining in the chat. Let's get this show started. So first things first, we're going to get a Dubs question in there. And for anyone who's watching out there that doesn't know my shows, we talk, all the questions are open up for both teams. So Evan, you can comment on anything Dubs, and then Jordan and Shell, we can answer anything Cavs. All right, so starting with question number 1, or topic. Is there any validity to this championship hangover based on the current record and the struggles that the Dubs have been facing? I mean, yeah. Steve Kerr did say that in a press conference, and I feel like he really just admit that?
I mean, if we were, say, a quarter of the way through the season, then we could make more of an argument. But 12 games is not enough to say. To me, I don't think that it's a hangover. I think they just a little sluggish. Like we were talking about it before we came on the show, and I watched some of the previous games, and then I watched some of the Cavs games, and I was like, yeah, I can see where it looks a little like, like. Not like they don't want to be
disjointed.
There, it just seems just a little discombobulated. But I think they'll get it back. I mean,
yeah,
4-7 is a 4-7 for basketball because it's 82 games. I think we have nothing but time and opportunity. They just need to just regroup. Right. Just regroup. Just play as a team, because when you do that, things get better. They always do. And even with the Cavs, with the recent loss, I noticed that as well. But I mean, Donovan Mitchell is just on fire. So, we just need to regroup. Once they do that, then we may see them in the playoffs, in the final.
Yep.
We may see you in the playoffs.
We'll see past the Hawks in the play-in this year. They had a problem doing that last year. But
we had injuries, so that's okay.
Oh, that's what it was. Gotcha. No, I don't think there's validity to it. The reason why I say that is because if you look at the top 6 on the Warriors, right, those are all the players that were key parts in the championship run. Now, the starting 5 was Steph, Clay, Draymond, Wiggins, Looney, and then Jordan Poole. And if you look at the starting 5, you look at some of the ratings, right? The starting 5 is actually, like, by whatever metric you want to look at, they are the best starting 5 in the NBA. It's the rest of it that they need to bring along with, JaMychal Green, the young guys, Moody, Wiseman, Ty Jerome's coming in. He's actually done a pretty good job. That's where the fall off has really been happening. So I don't really think it's a thing of a championship hangover. Even with Jordan Poole, and I'm sure we'll get to, what he's been doing or not been doing later. But I think a lot of that, well, obviously we know what happened in the offseason, but also he got that big contract, and sometimes you try to play up to that contract too much and you struggle. So that might be going on there too. But I think because, again, of the players who were actually a part of that championship, or the big players in that championship, the fact that they're doing so well, I don't think you can chalk this up to a hangover.
Right.
Yeah, I agree. Especially, Shell, to your point, it's so early in the season. Like, we've got a long stretch. And Steve Kerr did say he wished that we had less games to play. I particularly feel like, and I was talking to one of my friends, Dion, on the timeline, and I realized back-to-back games, especially for the vets. And I'm not a LeBron fan, but I kind of understand now. He's trying to play as long as he can. Back-to-back games for vets are hardcore, I see now from, Steph's point of view, like I want him to play as long as he can, trying to keep the two timelines of the vets and the rookies, the youngsters together. You got Steph, Clay, and Dre, and now you're trying to push in Jordan Poole, and we've gotten rid of the guys like Otto Porter and a guy who's came through the ranks, GP2, who I loved defensively and offensively. Now we're trying to mesh those two timelines together. It's like those back-to-backs, like, man, those are crucial. So now I understand the whole load management issue, and I wish we had, not as many games. Like, and then I had this whole Anthony Davis bet going. I won't get into that, but I had a bet on the timeline. That I was like, because he had said if he was going to play, I'd love to do the 82 games, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, I've been talking about it for about 2 years on Twitter. I'm like, if he plays all 82 games, I will come out and wear a Lakers jersey. And everyone's like, oh, yeah. Okay, I got to see this. Meanwhile, I got a Kobe jersey stashed in the closet that belongs to my son.
Well, I mean, we also got to remember, too, like who one of those vets are that we're talking about these back-to-back. Klay Thompson has come off 2 seasons now, basically back-to-back, before last year, right? But 2 years where he had season-ending injuries. He basically didn't play 2 seasons. And I mean, you heard Steve Kerr talk about this in the preseason, or not preseason, talk about it, I think last week, where it was he might not play in back-to-backs all year. And obviously he didn't do scrimmages, he didn't do full-on 5-on-5 work in the preseason training camp. Well, that means his legs still aren't there. So like that takes time to bring up. So no, I mean, you bring up a good point talking about the back-to-backs. But with this team as experienced and as old as they are, at least the front, 5-6 players, it hits harder even more with that.
And look at Iguodala. I mean, he's like hopefully playing tomorrow. I wouldn't want him to do it if he weren't ready. But like how many? I mean, he's playing less seasons than LeBron. So yeah.
That's one of those things. We just have a bye week,
Right.
we have the All-Star break, but that's
it. Yeah.
Right. That's all we get, right?
I mean, well, speaking of a bye week, can I say one thing real quick? Big prayers out to Jason Verrett. Obviously, I'm not a Niners fan, but seeing someone fight through all the injuries that he's gone through, he's so close to coming back again, and then he ruptures his Achilles. Like that was just awful to see. So I'm praying for him, not just physically, but also his mental, because I'm sure mentally he enough.
So many. And you as a defensive guy, I mean, like how, I mean, I'm sure you've seen it, you've been through injuries, and like mentally what guys like that and so forth what damage it does,
Yes.
Right.
Evan, do you have any thoughts on the championship hangover?
Well, I definitely believe that there's a such thing as a championship hangover. I don't think you guys are necessarily suffering from it this year, especially because you do, like Jordan said, you guys have your same core 6, but everybody else has to gel and come together. I think that for you guys, I think the off-season events that we're not really going to mention, I think that really played a big part into it, because you saw through the preseason that was a focus for media early on in the beginning of the season, first couple of games. It was the same thing. And the fact that every team that has made major moves with this offseason, including the Cavs, when it came to a back-to-back, they were terrible in the fourth quarter. So it's too early to panic or to worry about things like that, but we'll see.
I agree.
Yeah, and speaking of Cavs, one of the big questions is, I mean, what a major change. And you guys, I think, moved right to the top in my eyes. I thought when I heard you guys got Spida, I was like, oh shit, this is huge. You guys, were definitely my sleeper team coming out of the East. And I thought, everyone was tripping off of Miami and, those other teams. And I thought, don't sleep on the Cavs, especially Evan Mobley. Like, I thought he should have gotten Rookie of the Year, and I'm sure you did too.
Absolutely. I think that was more of an injury thing, but the nickname for him going around here that's kind of catching on is the baby ticket because he's compared to the big ticket. So he's working his way there.
I like that. So what do you think? Like, I mean, would you think that you would have this record had you not traded for him? Like, because you guys did pretty good last year. I mean,
we have been pretty good, but absolutely not. And like the injuries we had last year that plagued us in the playing games that we shouldn't have been in, I think that we wouldn't be here without him. With Garland being out, only playing 13 minutes in the first game before getting a laceration on his eye, which is still swollen at this point. I don't think we really have any facilitators. Looking at Ricky Rubio, who tore his ACL the same knee, I think this is his third time. So to see him have to come back in January, I think that NATO will be good for us once he gets to clue in with everybody. But I think that the high they rode on was definitely a home, just because being at those games, it really did feel like a playoff thing, and it was something that they could feed on. But now that they're on the road and they have to go through these trips, it's really time to see how they go together, what the rotation's going to be, and it's going to be very exciting to watch.
For sure. And I was noticing just based off of their losses, like even kind of dipping into one of the other questions we have, because it kind of coincided, just from their losses, playing on the road, like they've only lost on the road. And when they did, they played they lost by 3 points or whatever, So they could have won those games. I'm thinking maybe it was just luck that they lost. I don't know. What do you think it was? You think it was just because it was a road game? I mean, because they could probably beat the Warriors. I don't know. But what do you think it is?
I think
we can go back and forth to these questions too, so we can give everyone a chance to answer the first one.
I think it was more so of a matchup thing, except for the Clippers. I think the Clippers will be really good this year. I think that with health for them is the only thing that's really going to stop the Clippers. I think they'll surprise everybody. But if we go back to our opening night, for the Raptors, I think their 7-man rotation has nobody shorter than 6'8", and that includes the point guard. So their backup point guard anyway. So to see two guards that are 6'1" and have the ability to, as the Raptors do, they have the ability to switch everything. And I think that was something that we lost an advantage with when we traded away Laurie Moore. So we had our three towers, and now we're down to 2. We're trying to figure out what we can do with guys like Karis LeVert, Dean Wade, and Isaac Okoro to see who's going to be that third piece. When you look at the Clippers game, I think that their legs got tired, but I also think that Paul George just took over the game. And in that fourth quarter, especially the last 8 minutes, it was just Paul George in the corner, Paul George at the elbow, Paul George in the paint, a foul here, a turnover there. And I think that is where their struggles are going to be until this chemistry thing gets figured out.
Yeah. He PG had a great game. And but man, Karis LeVert, you guys had heavy hitters that game too. So it really was kind of anyone's game, except PG-13 really came out the cuts. Go ahead, Jordan and Shell. We can, if you want to go back to the other one. Rod's in the chat. What's up, Rod? And Danielle.
What's up, Rod?
Got a shout out.
Rod.
Danielle, got a shout out. Rod. Thanks, guys, for showing up. Appreciate y'all. Danielle says, do you think it's a lack of trust? But yeah, you guys, we can switch around to the previous question if you want, and go back and forth.
Yeah, I mean, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead, Jordan.
You got it.
You're good. Go ahead. We're like, no, you go. No, you go.
He's first.
You're funny. Real quick, and I'll, Jordan, you can jump in. I think it's just a time change too, because you have to adjust to that flight. It's a lot, for the Cavs to come here and vice versa, because you are going across the country, and that is, a 3-hour difference. I mean, right now it's 10:35 in the East, so for them to come out here and it's 7:30, they would still be programmed to be, okay, it's 10:30, or like the game that's, not to switch to football, but just to make the point, like, okay, there's a game on Sunday in Munich, which is for Gina and myself and Jordan. That's at 6:30 in the morning, our time. So can you imagine like trying to get up at 6:30 to watch a minor game? Like, I'm up now.
I ain't set no alarm. I'm just rolling out of bed.
Right, just get up. Right, exactly. So
like, oh, it's on? Okay.
Like, okay, it's on. Let's go. Right, it's 6:30 in the morning.
Right.
Just saying. Sleep. So that's just an example. So I can agree with what people are saying in the chats as well. Like, it can be trust. It could be jet lag. It could be your body's just shutting down. It could be, because that can make for illnesses as well. So, hopping on and off planes. Granted, you're on the plane with your teammates, but you're not with the general population and everything. So that could play a role. If there's any injuries prior to leaving to go across the country and everything, that could also make, I don't want to say make or break, but that could be, I guess, a factor or a deciding factor in if the loss happens and everything. Like with the Warriors, I think they just got tired. I think they just got way just complacent. Like remember you and I were talking about that, Gina, and I watched just the last few games, and I watched the Monday night and everything. Mm-hmm. So I could see, the tired. I could see the just the just lackadaisical on the court. There was a lot of points being scored in the paint. There was a lot of 3-pointers that's wide open, and they're just sitting there letting them go, letting them light off. I mean, because the Kings are, I know it's off topic, but the Kings they're up there too, even though their record is, I think, it's the same as us, which is 4-7 right now, if I'm not mistaken. But
and then they beat the Cavs.
Yeah, and that was definitely a factor.
By barely too. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, the Cavs are losing on the road, but the Cavs beat the Celtics. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just
well,
can't sleep on the Cavs.
That was a good game.
We got to be honest about this too. The Kings are probably 2 bad calls away from having 2 more wins that they should have, right? Obviously, one of them was against the Warriors on Monday, right? Kevin Huerter was fouled. They didn't call it. Thank goodness they didn't, but he was fouled. And then also there was a travel, I think, on Tyler Hero when they played Miami, down in Miami, that should have been called, also wasn't. But I think, overall, when it goes back to the initial question, it's hard to win on the road in the NBA. It just is. I mean, think about some of the best teams year in and year out. The usual goals, what they say, like, if you want to be a playoff team, do whatever you can to be 500 on the road. That's usually what it is. Be 500, and the rest will take care of itself. Also, I know, like, for even early on in the season, there have been some times, I think Garland's missed a couple of games. Donovan Mitchell, I think, has also missed a game as well. So there have been times where they've had some, roster changes in and out as well. So that plays a part in it too.
Yeah, and plus, I mean, the Warriors, road game, like losing streak. I mean, horrible. We're not a 500 team. I mean, it's like, and then one good thing about us, like trying to get back into that, championship DNA. Look at our playoff record. We've only lost one under Steve Kerr, so just like keep winning and winning and winning. Not the final, but you know what I mean? Like we lost one at home. Like, so what I'm trying to say. But I don't have all the statistics fucking in front of me because I'm not a fucking girl, but,
what? No stats? Nope, you're not a Warriors fan. No stats. Nope.
I know, right?
So I guess
All that
that's
shit.
technically my job, right? I'm supposed to have stats in front of me.
Oh, nope. Cut him
This
too.
is not an ESPN show. This is not a FS1 show. This is a Reppin with Gina G. Rep your team.
Not the stats.
So I know, right?
We don't do stats. What the hell is it?
But what? Oh, so here's what I wanted to also ask. So our bench is looking kind of fucked up. But can we defeat the Cavs with our bench? Because it's
No.
Yeah. All right, Evan, why don't you start?
I'm so sorry, but no, that to me, honestly, that's the thing I'm the most sure about with us right now. Kevin Love taking the role that he took last year and finally accepting the 6-man role, which he should have won the 6 man, but that's just me.
Shout out to Wise real quick. What's up, Wise?
Coming in, doing that he's doing, being a leader and a vet. You have guys like Fetty, you have guys like Karis LeVert, Dean Wade, who can all take turns starting or coming off the bench, coming in with that rotation and keeping it going. The fact that we can bring guys off the bench that can still, play defense, get a stop, take a charge, get a good rebound, but can also stretch the floor versus having 2 guys before who are taking maybe a 20-footer or usually just catching a lob and getting a rebound. I think the chemistry is there, and I think that's our strongest part of our team right now, and I think that's going to be the reason you guys struggle.
So
yeah, go ahead, Jordan.
I'm gonna say yes, the Warriors can. The reason why I say that is, again, like if I'll say, like, I mean, similar to what I said from the get-go in terms of starting fives. The Warriors starting 5 is probably better, if not better than most others or everyone else's starting 5 in the league. Now, the thing is, and of course, we still don't know because Steve Kerr, he's still figuring some things out with rotations. I know, obviously, Gina, there was that whole conversation on Twitter all day long about this. And you really don't know at this point as a Warriors fan what that second unit is going to look like. You don't know anymore because they're going to keep trying different things out to see what works. Now, the thing is, the starting 5, they're going to put the bench in a position where they're good to go. They're okay. Now it's just up to, well, what combinations they have and what they use. Can they sustain it? That's the big question mark. And obviously, for right now, we don't know the answer to it. For the most part, the answer has been no. But I still feel like there's a combination in there somewhere that works where that's not going to be the case.
Yeah, because these
tell me about it.
Yeah, especially with the possibilities of who's going to the G League. They've already sent down Patrick Baldwin and Ryan Rollins, and then I asked Kareth Burke if on the mailbag, and she answered my, fucking my question. I know. I was like, hey. If JK and if she thought JK and Wise should go down there, and she said no, but then it was hinted by Bob Myers that anyone could go. So that to me said maybe they would. I don't know. I just feel like, I don't know. I just get into arguments with people all the time.
Like, do you feel like it's like you're not confident in the bench, Gina? I mean, I am, but I feel a little kind of, I don't want to say standoffish because that's not the right thing to say, but you know what I'm saying. Like,
yeah, I know what you're saying. I feel like it's like you said, it's so early that I'm not 100% confident right now. I just feel like there's still so much more gelling that needs to happen. And my worry, I don't have the panic button on it, like Bonte's panic meter. Like, I'm right now in the middle, like I'm not like fucking scared, I'm just like, I trust Steve Kerr. Like, I'm not a Kerr hater at all because he obviously is one of the greats,
he kind of really brought us out of the dark,
Well,
dark time, 40 years.
The thing for the Kerr haters, I would say this: you got to understand, if you want to appreciate and accept and love the postseason success that he's had, you have to accept also the regular season struggles he goes through. There's a reason why he is as good as he is in the postseason, because they figure things out during the regular season. That's like, for the Warriors, for the most part, that is what the regular season is about. When you have the main core group healthy.
Yeah.
It's figuring certain things out, see what works, see what doesn't work. So the thing for me is, I feel like, again, they're 4-time champions. Steve Kerr, I think he has 9 in total.
Yeah.
And think about
more than Tom Brady, no.
But I mean, you think about some of the coaches he's worked under: Lute Olson, Phil Jackson, Greg Popovich. He's earned the benefit of the doubt of, okay, you know what, this first 11, 12 games, yeah, you can struggle a bit. That's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine, because you've shown when it matters, you figure it out.
Right. And I'm sorry, Evan, just real quick, on my interview with Bonte Hill, he even said, it might take the youngsters 2 months to get it right, But go ahead, Evan, I'm sorry.
Oh, sorry, go ahead, Evan.
So what you were saying, Jordan, so when is the panic button for you guys? Because if you're willing to admit that you're still weary about Wiseman, and what is this, year 4? You have questions with Poole, you still have questions with Clay. Because my biggest question to you guys is, why not bring Clay off the bench until he's really ready?
How much is he being paid again?
It don't matter. You just paid Jordan Poole, and if Kerr's really the guy, and you know that, and you can. To me, if Kerr's really the guy for you, and you believe in Thompson, say, hey, look, we're just trying to get something started. When you're really ready and you're right, and you're back to being Clay, we'll put you back in the lineup. But I need a guaranteed score. I need somebody I could bring off the bench right now, somebody that could pull this group together. Why not him?
So I fully hear what you're saying, but I guess the question is, if we're already talking about rotational issues and what some of the rotations look like outside of the starting 5, why then mix up someone who's supposed to be in that starting 5 and then have even more questions outside of that? Because again, the thing is, it's not like Jordan Poole, and don't get me wrong, I love Jordan Poole. I love him. He's been struggling this year. It's not like a thing of for both Clay and Jordan Poole offensively, they have been struggling this year. They haven't been themselves yet. So it's not even just let's put Jordan Poole in here. He was the same Jordan Poole as he was last year, and things are going to be fine. Now, the thing is, what I do hope, and I'm not even saying this from a production standpoint, I'm saying it from a leadership, vocal leader on the court. If Andre Iguodala is back, and not even again, I said, I don't expect him to play that many minutes, but just to have that voice out there on the floor with all those young guys.
I agree.
Because you got to remember, with the young players for the Warriors, they're not just your typical NBA young. James Wiseman only played 3 college games. Jonathan Kuminga hasn't played that much time either, in terms of those high level situations. So they are very, very young, even NBA standards, in terms of experience. So you really have to bring them along with that. And so sometimes you need that veteran presence. And so I hope that that's what Andre Iguodala can bring when he comes back.
And also, I will never, ever disrespect Clay by bringing him off the bench. Period.
Disrespect.
It is. He ain't no Russell Westbrook.
I'll say this. Just last year in the playoffs run, Stephen Curry, remember, Steph came off the bench during that.
That's different. That's different. He was injured.
But when he was healthy, he still did it. So my thing is, if Steph can do it, anybody can do it. But I just don't.
I know. I totally have that in my head. I get it. But
Steph,
that was totally different.
Steph is bionic. Remember that.
I'm just not hitting the panic button for sure. But that's why I want to ask Evan. Are the Warriors intimidating this season? Why? Why not?
To me or to the league?
To you guys, to the Cavs,
No.
as fans. No. Okay, because this was something that I heard on one of those shows like NBA Today or whatever. I catch them sometimes.
The reason I say no is because this team literally enjoys doing everything together. And even though Kevin Love is the only guy to win a championship on this roster, these guys really listen to Kevin. And what stood out for me to really stood out for him is we have a chain like the turnover chain Miami used to have. We have the junkyard dog chain that we give out.
Right.
And we gave it to DJ Bickerstaff, our head coach, over a halftime speech that he gave us. The players, rather. I'm saying us like I'm in the locker room. But that he gave to them. And it just shows a lot of camaraderie that they do this every game. They take pictures. You can go around the city on off days when they're here. You can see them at Topgolf. You'll see them at Indians games. You see them at Browns games. You see them all around the city. And I think that chemistry alone and the fact that they're just fighters. And they're not going to give up. And I think Donovan Mitchell fits well with that. And for that reason alone, I don't think they're afraid. Now, Clay I would think differently. But because you guys are having those issues, I don't think they're afraid.
Like if we were 11-0, then yeah, you could probably say differently. But you know what? I'm gonna say no to Gina. I'm not even gonna lie to you. It's almost like, and I know we're not talking football. It's almost like the Eagles being 8-0. You know, like nobody's really intimidated. You know what I mean? It's kind of jacked up because they're playing some good football. I'm not even gonna lie. I mean, granted, they're not playing, you know, the Niners or the Bills or, you know, the Jets.
I know
the Jets are what, 7-1 right now? Right. You know what I mean? I mean, they're not even playing the Vikings, and the Vikings are 7-1. I'm just like, damn. You know what I mean? Those teams are more talked about, in my honest opinion, you know what I mean, than the teams that are not so talked about. You know what I mean? Like the Niners are on the back burner, you know, the Seahawks and the Rams, you know, granted the Rams haven't been winning too much. They're on the back burner too. And they just came off a Super Bowl, you know, a Super Bowl win. Almost said Super Bowl loss. God, I wish. But they're not being talked about in the light that they should, you know, and honestly, they should be talked about. Like that's definitely not us, not right now. And that's probably a good thing. But it is too early to determine anything and say, oh, well, should we be intimidated? Should we not be intimidated? You know, that's why I go back to that only being 11 games. And it's kind of fucked up to say, oh, well, they're this, they're that, when we're not even, you know, like I said, a quarter of the way through the season, which is about what we're working on that now. So I would say by 25 games, and you can have a, you know, way more formulated perception, I guess, you know, of what they are and what, you know, what we can really put them, you know, put a tag on, you know what I mean, as far as that.
Yeah, I mean, if I look at it from the Cavs perspective, obviously, no, the Warriors are not intimidating, but the reason why is one word: performance. And I say that from the Cavs standpoint, not even the Warriors. The Cavs so far this year, I think they're one of the only teams that are. I think that first off, they lead the league in point differential. I think they're one of the only very few teams in terms of top 10 in offensive rating and defensive rating. I know we've all had this label for Donovan Mitchell when he was in Utah, the shot chucker, but he is shooting as efficient as you could ever hope for a superstar so far this year. So if you're playing as well as the Cavs are, there really isn't any team that intimidates them right now. Now, of course, add on the fact that the Warriors are struggling to start off the year, that helps. But I mean, if we were just talking about from the Cavs standpoint by themselves, and let alone, I haven't even talked about Evan Mobley, who he was putting up numbers that, like, do these names do anything for you? Kevin Garnett, Tim Duncan, Chris Webber. Those are rookie numbers that he was putting up. So, yeah, you put all that together, and then you have a rim protector like Jared Allen back there too. Yeah. They have no reason to be intimidated.
Right. Yeah, and they're probably going to get scarier too as the season goes on.
Yeah. They're still just in the process of figuring it all out together as a team. That's the scary part. They're already this good, and they're still just figuring out how to play all together.
Right. And by the same token, the Warriors are defending champs, and they are going to be figuring it out too, because the Warriors have – the reason why I don't have the panic button on yet is because I think, to answer your question, Evan, is I would give it until like December. December is when I would hit that panic button if it's still shitty, you know.
Right. If we're still not at 500, then yeah.
But I would say late December, like around Christmas or something. Because right now, Steph, you know, let's just face facts. He is carrying the team. Like he's you know, averaging 30 points a game, you know, MVP style, you know. Of course, you know, there's probably some shit still going on mentally in the locker room. I will give Draymond this. He is playing better than last year.
Well. Yes.
He's playing really well. I see him attacking the rim. He's getting points. I don't see no fucking triple single shit. So I give him a lot of credit. And that's probably because of what he did to JP.
You're right.
He's like, oh, man, the spotlight's on me, man. I got to do something because my career, you know, is right now I'm in the spotlight. So, yeah. And Rod is an agreement. He says the season doesn't start till Christmas. I completely, and why will come together, we'll reevaluate after Christmas. Yeah. And plus, too, I mean, look what happened with Steph when he came, when he started to fall, you know, his numbers started to fall after, was it around All-Star break last year, you know? So, I mean, things happen, injuries happen, and things like that. So I'm thinking, you know, let's see what happens around December, end of December, Christmas. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, this is going to be fun because we got some new teams, like the Cavs made their presence felt already. And I think, hey, they're giving the Celtics some really good competition. So I'm not. What's that?
Said don't forget the Hawks too. The Hawks are making noise.
I'm not. I've never really been
the only team to beat the Bucks this year. So far, they're the only one that the only ones that beat the Bucks. They actually won tonight.
That's true. I think it was a fluke, though.
Wow.
I'm not sold on the Hawks.
We'll see.
We're sold on the Cavs, but we're sold on the Cavs.
I'm sold on the Cavs. I think the Cavs are
a little early to say sold. I will say that though.
You said wait, say it again.
The scariest. I would say that to say that you're sold on them, I would be a little weary of that, because the thing that you said that stands out to me is also the thing that kind of is that it's scary to watch that once they get to that point where they have full chemistry is the problem that I have, because if you look at the game against Sacramento, they had a poor start. They came out in the second half. They did great. And then you see the same problem that you had against the Clippers. You see the same problem that you kind of saw in the beginning of the Raptors game, and that's when you have Garland and Mitchell on the court at the same time. We don't run motion. We're not. It becomes a pick and roll ISO game, and I think that is something that worries me more than it excites everybody else. Because with Garland out, you see what we do to Boston, which was 41-41. They completed the meme. That was what was all over Cleveland Twitter, the LeBron James Kyrie Irving game. And then you have a game where both of them don't play, and they look even better than when both of them or one of them was in the game against Detroit. Now, yes, I get it. It's Detroit. They're a young team. But the idea that we doubled their rebounds on the offensive and defensive side, got to the line, the most that we've gotten in the regular season so far, even though it's short. So that's the thing that I would say that scares me the most. And I think it's going to go on for a while due to injuries and due to the fact that they sat them out of the Pistons game to save them for the Clippers game, only to have the same issue.
By the way, just one nugget: the Hawks beat the Bucks without Trae Young playing too. I just want to put that out there too. So there's also
without who?
Without Trae Young. Trae Young didn't play that game.
Oh, yeah, because he had a broken eye.
He had a laceration with his eye.
Yeah, his eye. That's right. Okay, you got me there.
You have DeJounte Murray. I mean, I will
that's
say
true.
a lot, but you have DeJounte Murray.
I mean, you're not wrong. I mean, but did anybody write up before that game? Oh, look, we scored a touchdown. Did anybody before that game have AJ Griffin going for 20+ points in that game?
Not over yet.
So like that was the thing with that. They found a way to make it, and we missed another extra point. This team, Gina, you see.
I'm way behind.
I know we're supposed to be talking about
prime
that.
is behind.
Gina,
but I'm behind on my fucking live. Anyways, go ahead.
You see why I don't care how y'all want to put it. It was a bad loss when y'all lost to the Falcons. Like this team,
very bad.
Don't remind us.
28-14 of Falcons and Niners. Very bad. For sure. So
keep it on the Niners. Let's just keep it that way.
I have no choice.
We are 0-4.
Yes.
Somebody wake me up when Desmond.
What about this? Okay, so we've got I've got a couple of questions for the Dubs, but I'm just gonna probably we have a bunch of time left. We could throw in some more cap shit, but what I wanted to ask above all else is, and then we could throw stuff around. The defense, what the hell went wrong? I mean, we were like doing so well last season, the championship run. Like we beat the #1 Celtics in defense. Now we can't defend without fouling. So what do we do? And how do we fix it? And I feel like now that that's all we've been doing is like this pattern. All the refs are just going to keep calling it regardless until we actually start cleaning it up. 3 fouls by the second quarter, for like Loon and, Draymond.
It's not a good thing because then they get fouled out potentially. And then what happens? Like,
I mean, sit them and then bring in Kuminga and,
Right. And I feel like there's no, it's so hard to say it. I feel like there's no plan B. I know that doesn't make sense, but it feels like there's no secondary plan in place. I don't know if it's just like, fuck it, I don't want to play. I ain't doing this today. I don't know what the fuck it is, but
yeah,
I don't know. They just all need to just go outside on the playground and handle it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to go to that extreme, but I'm just saying, like, I'm not sure what it's, I'm in the same pay. I'm on the same boat as you. I just feel like, do we run these drills again? Do we go, do we over and over and over again? You know what I mean? Like, they do something wrong. The coach makes you do 20 push-ups kind of shit. Like, do you have to do that to get it right? Like,
give me 50.
Run 20 laps, huh?
Right. That's the kind of shit my son does. He's in 2 leagues now. He started CYO a few weeks ago, and now he's doing his middle school shit.
Oh wow, fun!
But he loves it. He loves basketball. So yeah. But so what, Jordan, Evan? What do you guys think about this? I mean,
I'll let Jordan go first because I have a question more than an answer.
No, yeah, for sure. So it's funny. I think, just like with what you're talking about, if anybody out there has played football, I think we can all understand what this means. When the coach, as soon as they say, get your feet chopping, that's kind of like what's been going on with the Warriors on defense, right? Some things aren't been going right. So you better just get your feet chopping when you see it on tape. But no, I think the best way to answer this question is with what some of the things we started this whole call off with. Again, Clay has his legs still aren't there yet because he didn't do that much in the preseason. So he's not the defender that we all think of Klay Thompson being. That's just not going to be the case. He also may never get back to that point because he's older now. But I think he's still a better defender than what we're seeing now. And again, you have a lot of these young dudes who don't have a lot of reps in the NBA or just a lot of high-level basketball reps in general. So in terms of some certain rotations, maybe when to contest, not to contest, in the case of Wiseman, they still need time to figure that all out. So it's just going to take time, because think about who all we lost since last year. Not even just in terms of defensive ability, but like basketball IQ wise.
Sure.
Otto Porter Jr., very smart basketball player.
Very, yeah.
Gary Payton II, obviously great defender, but also very smart basketball mind. Like, these are some of the guys now that some of that IQ, like that left. So now you just got to hope that eventually this learning curve, the ramp up process for those young guys, it'll come along.
So, do you think that the Draymond incident was the final straw for the locker room?
Oof.
Because there's been so many incidences. The Tristan Thompson episode that happened at the LeBron James party, I'm pretty sure you guys know about it. Like, we know about it. If you don't know, you got to look it up. But there's that. There's the halftime where he's heard shouting in the locker room, "If you guys don't want me to shoot, I could pack up and go home right now." The multiple episodes since he's been there, and then to see like this happen, where it was reported that you only had like 2 or 3 guys in the tape room, the recording room, that record these practices and do these things. So for that to get out there is a big deal, and to have to deal with that in a bigger way than what it would have been if it was just, there was an altercation at practice with no tape. Do you think that him being the defensive leader that he was, the vocal leader for this team, does that have to drown him out?
That's a good question. The best way I could answer it is, again, like looking at the metrics and the numbers of the Warriors starting 5. If those were to taper off, then I could say, more confidently than, that had a big part to do with it. I mean, we heard, I think it was either Sean Livingston or David West. They talked about, like once they left the Warriors, they're saying, look, if you knew all the things that we had to go through as a team to repeat and do all these things, it'd be incredible. So I think for this group, dealing with adversity and dealing with certain situations is nothing new. But obviously, after a while, it's so hard to really, like, there's no true metric, right, that you can just say, like, this is what that impact had. And I think, it's one of those things that unless someone wants to come out way later down the road, I'm talking like 10, 15 years, they want to do a tell-all story or book, we won't know. So, it's a good question. I think it's one of those things that, if the Warriors don't turn it around, it's going to be a question that's asked literally the whole year, the whole season. So, I mean, I wish I could answer it better than that, but I really just don't know.
It's kind of being hinted and around, media outlets, news media outlets. Like, I know people aren't fans of Stephen A. Smith.
Not really.
It's kind of been flirted with on First Take. They kind of danced around it and moved on, but it's been like, so is that going to be an issue? Is this a problem? I'm just like, Stephen A., shut up. Just shut the fuck up. Please shut the fuck up. It's 11 games, not 31 games. First of all. Second of all, you've only played college ball, and that's not an insult to him because he's eccentric. We all know that. And with that New York mentality, okay. Third, which is first and second, stay the fuck away from our team. Okay. He has never liked the Warriors. He always talks shit about the Warriors. He'll put that shit out there like, oh, that's my dog. And When's the last time you even came to California, bro? When's the last time you even came and watched the game? Like, when's the last time you watched the Knicks versus the Warriors in Oakland? Let's take it back. In Oakland. I'll rest my case. You know what I'm saying?
You know why the hate is. You know why.
Exactly. But he'll go to Dallas with a big old hat talking shit about the Cowboys. I'm weak.
Well, right. First and foremost, and first off, where's my camera? Put my camera on me. Okay.
Exactly.
Now I love Clay.
And put Jordan next to me so he can see me talking.
So I want to see. Where's the split cam? Put them next to me. I want to see when I talk.
Right.
Now I love Klay Thompson. That's a good brother. All right, we know the pedigree. 4-time champion. One of
I
the
like
best
your impersonation. Go ahead.
one of the best shooters that we've ever seen play the game. Okay, we might be saying he's the best shooter ever if it wasn't for the person that he's played next to. Right. This is a brother we're talking about. 37 points in the quarter. He played 4 dribbles. He has a dog named Rocco. He takes a boat to the Chase Center. Okay, we know who we're talking about with Klay Thompson. Let's be clear. He's not the same guy right now. And I know Jay Williams, Kendrick, Big Perk, you'll agree with me when I say this, okay?
I'm dying right now.
All right, I'm done.
Don't forget Steph Curry, the greatest shooter that God has ever created.
Wait, you gotta add the college words to it, Jordan.
You're right. Because if I don't do it, that's just blasphemous. Okay, if I don't bring a big word in it, it's just blasphemous. Okay, that's all I gotta say. You should be banned from speaking anything about basketball if you're talking about Stephen A. and you don't bring up a big word. It's just blasphemous.
Because you have to extrapolate or whatever the fuck. Okay. Shit.
Oh shit.
Woo.
I love it.
That hurt my face. I was laughing.
I love Stephen A. Not extrapolate.
I love Stephen A. I do.
I love him, and then he irritates the shit out of me. Like, for real.
Absolutely.
For real.
I want to ask just a quick question. Do we need to trade for a vet?
I mean,
I
feel like what are we gonna lose if we do?
So what Evan said, not yet.
Yeah, okay. Because people are talking about like, oh, let's give up and White and probably JP and I'm like, slow your roll.
That's giving up way too much.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like y'all should have made the trade last year more than this year. And I know you guys are gonna laugh and look at me like I'm crazy, but I think y'all should have traded Draymond for Ben Simmons. And here's why. Look, I get it. Trust me, I get it.
I'm listening.
Sean Livingston, Andre Iguodala. You could pick multiple guys that were struggling in their career, had some kind of issue outside. When it came to being in the Warriors organization, and this even goes before Steve Kerr, they turned it around. They found a space, they found a spot, and they made it work. Look at GP2. He was around the league, traveling everywhere. He was on the team, then to the G League, then at my auntie house, and then at your auntie house. Came to the Warriors, boom, went and got a big payday. Why not take Ben in and say, hey, look, you take the rest of the season off. We'll figure it out. You get some of your young guys some playing time. You come back and you got the same exact offense that you had when you beat us the first time in the championship. Now, yeah, would it have cost y'all the championship last year? Probably. But would your window be longer? Absolutely.
Probably because he's a pain in the ass.
I understand it, like where you're coming from. I really do. The only thing is, well, and I mean, this is more so of a hindsight is 2020 kind of thing. We see what Ben Simmons is so far this year with Brooklyn.
That's not fair.
Well,
I apologize. That's not fair. That's not fair. But you know what? I'm
No, you go ahead. How's that not fair?
That's not fair because look what's going on in Brooklyn.
Okay.
From the offseason, from the minute they traded James Harden to now, all their personal business has been has been available. It's like somebody took their diary and put it out there. Sure. You got arguably the second best small forward to play besides LeBron and Pippen. But that's a different discussion for a different day. Demanding a trade, not getting a trade, and then coming back and saying, oh, well, if I got to come back and y'all want me to play, I need Steve Kerr gone, I need this assistant gone, I need this auntie fired, I need the GM fired, I need the lady who works in Section 105 fired because you looked at me funny. Like, literally was like, if I'm coming back, I need y'all to clear out everything. And then they have the issues where they firing Steve Nash. Y'all, look, I'm sorry. If y'all willing to fire Steve Nash after something like that, after the start y'all had this year, y'all was trying to fire him last year and didn't, because you didn't know what you was going to
big
do.
time.
So
good point.
To sit there and blame Ben Simmons when he's playing in New York, the media capital, that where he's being attacked in the media and can't do nothing, and people are calling him out because he hasn't shot. The man hasn't played basketball in a year.
So that's very fair, and like you bring up a lot of very good points. My point of bringing up Ben Simmons and what he's been doing this year, there's still been certain situations in transition. He's 6'10", 220, 30, whatever. Take the ball up and lay it up. He still doesn't do that. There have been times where you see him in the lane. He's open. He has a look. There was even one time, I think ESPN mics or whatever caught it where someone's telling him, shoot it, Ben. He doesn't do it.
Oh, yeah, it was Kyrie. Kyrie telling him to shoot it. After Kyrie wide open layup.
Now, my thing, though, with that is you got to remember the complexity that the Warriors offense is. That's not something that you just pitch in like in the middle of the season and all of a sudden it works. It doesn't work like that. And also with that too, you got to remember if Draymond was a problem for this year, which again, we will never fully know the levels of what happened in the offseason, if what is playing on this team or not. But we do know certain things. The biggest issues are the bench and the defense. Well, what's Draymond doing? Well, he's not coming off the bench and he's actually playing pretty good defense. So that's not really been the problem. So I don't really think that overall with the issues that the Warriors are seeing right now, that swapping Draymond for Ben Simmons would really change that much. I really don't.
I think it does. He's a better defender. And Draymond wants to shoot. Yeah, it's a problem that Ben Simmons ain't going to do it unless he catch a lob or he's wide open like on a fast break or something. But let's be honest, Ben Simmons is the best defensive player in the league for like the last 2-3 years. The only difference is that Giannis is taking LeBron's chair. Let's be serious. He's great on defense. And
sure,
that frees up Klay Thompson, who you asked to do that. That frees up your second best defender, in my opinion, Andrew Wiggins.
He is the best defender, I think.
Yeah.
And then it also helps out Steph Curry. So I really don't see where I understand where it doesn't look like a good idea. Now, if you had gotten Ben Simmons before the whole playoff thing, different story. But I just feel like finding somebody that can allow Steph to be Steph, help Klay be Klay, help the young guys as a facilitator, make sure they get the ball in the right spot. Because guess what? We all know Ben Simmons ain't going to score. He's not looking to score no way. And you still trying to block his shot. You still trying to stop him because of the threat that man provides. And that's going to give open buckets to Looney. That's going to give open buckets to Wiseman. That's going to get Poole open. That's going to get everybody a chance.
So you said something there, and I'm so happy you said it. Because you talk about someone that let Steph be Steph and let Klay be Klay. There is one person in the history of the Warriors that has been the best at letting Steph be Steph and letting Klay be Klay. Draymond Green. Like, there's so many times if you watch the Warriors offense, before you would even think about Klay or Steph being open, that ball's already on the way. That's because Draymond, they played together for 10 plus years. So, like, all of a sudden, if you bring in Ben Simmons to that, you have to recreate that chemistry and that feel all over again. That takes time. That wasn't just Draymond, a basketball savant. He knows what it. No, it's because he played with them for so long. Now, Ben Simmons, he's a smart basketball player too. I'm not trying to say all of a sudden, because he's not taking on certain layups or whatever, that he's not smart. He's a very smart basketball player. You can tell that by his playmaking abilities. But there's certain things on the floor that Draymond does with those two. It's happened because they've spent over a decade playing together. You can't just make that up all of a sudden.
True.
Well, how about score?
Here we go.
Lord.
I'll go
and now it's time to what was the word? Extrapolate.
Extrapolate. All right, ladies first. Shell, what are we looking at?
Ooh.
Are
I'm
we
gonna keep
going
it low.
over
Maybe
100?
I'm gonna say close to it. I'm gonna go 97, 90 Warriors, something like that. Keep it low.
Okay.
Keep it low.
All right. Evan.
You a lady? Are you not gonna go?
Oh, well, I always go last. Okay, I am a lady.
I'm a lady.
You said ladies first. My bad. I thought you was gonna go.
He makes a good point.
You made a good point. You know what? I never give sometimes I give a prediction. Okay. I say 105 to 103. Warriors.
Okay.
Warriors. Okay.
Well, if the Warriors are going to win, it's going to be a high scoring game. So I'm going to go 123, 117 Dubs. Steph has 35, 8, and 7.
I love it.
I think it's going to be closer than people think. I got it going into overtime. I got it 131 to 129 Cavs.
Okay, so it is booked. And I don't know why I had to clap, but let's go Warriors. And well, Cavs. I mean, it's going to be a good game.
Let them know.
Let them know. I had to look up your hashtag because I wanted to make sure it had your little emblem on Twitter. I was like, let them know what?
Let them know. Let them comment. Like you said in the beginning, we not sleepers no more. We here to play. We here for the big dog. And we gonna make it shake. And here's the thing: we got everybody for our core 5 and key bench players for the next 5 years on the contract.
Mm-hmm. No, I got a lot of respect for what Cleveland has to bring to the table. I really do. I just got to talk stuff again because obviously, like I said, my hometown Atlanta Hawks knocked them out to play in last year, so that's just that.
It's okay. It's okay.
Yeah. There's definitely the Warriors and Cavs rivalry. And I'd be remiss if I didn't get to tell you guys that I'm going to the game tomorrow.
We need to meet up.
Yes. So I'm taking my son. Yeah. This is a game that I've been trying to go to for 2 years. Yes, you heard that correctly. I had these tickets 2 years ago, but long story short, originally I had tested positive for COVID, even though I had my booster. So whatever. Anyways, thank you to, oh my God, now I'm going to forget his name. Well, anyway, he knows who he is. I don't want to get him in trouble, but he up with better seats. I'm not supposed to tell that, but anyway, I have really good seats now, and I'm super excited because this is probably the only chance I'm ever going to sit in these wonderful seats. So thank you. You know who your name is, and I'm going with my son, and we are excited. We're going there super duper early. As soon as they let us in, we're going to be like, let us in, and we're going to be like eating really good food. I might even buy my son a jersey. Yeah, exactly. Open. And buy my son a jersey because he outgrew the last one, and I'm wearing it now. So yeah, I'm so excited, and I'm going to do an in the gate where I'm going to post footage of like, in the Chase Center, which I did last time, but it came out okay. But these seats are way better. So let's go, Warriors.
Awesome. No, we definitely gotta meet up. But I do have to. Is it possible I can ask one more question, Gina, before we go?
Please. I'm not on a time schedule.
Because you brought up a really good thing talking about the Cavs Warriors rivalry. Evan, for y'all, I guess I want to ask because obviously LeBron's not there anymore. Is there still that little hatred or vitriol towards the Warriors for Cavs fans, or does it not really matter as much anymore? Or what's the deal there?
It kind of depends on who you ask. No disrespect to the older generation, but if you ask the old heads, it wasn't really a rivalry because, it was a rivalry in the moment, but right now, no. But for the generation that grew up on our big three versus your big three, absolutely. And I think it's still important. Now, I think the biggest rivalry that people think about when it comes to the Cavs is the Cavs and the Celtics. But everybody that really follows us,
I think you're cutting out.
You're cutting out.
Yeah, I think you're cutting out a little bit.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yep. There you go.
Like I was saying, the number one team we think about is Boston, but when it comes to the Warriors, y'all have a special place in our heart where we really want that smoke. We want to prove to y'all that this not the LeBron Cavs, and that was something that was talked about in a Darius Garland interview after we beat the Lakers. That what would it mean to bring a championship to this team? And the answer was that that's what we play for, not only to win a championship, but to show the city that we can do it ourselves.
I like that answer. That's a good answer.
Yeah.
That's a very good answer.
I know.
Personally,
Keep it real.
I like the Warriors. I like to watch their game. They got a good style of play, but I can't stand y'all. I'm not gonna lie. I can't. And the reason I can't respect you, the reason I can't respect it is because I got so much respect for Klay Thompson. Like, I don't really care for Draymond just because of the way he carries himself on the court. Off the court, I think he's awesome. But when it comes to it's just something about Klay Thompson. Like, for me personally, watching Klay Thompson is just something personal. It's like when he talk that talk, you know he talking it, and it's like you don't even have to kind of watch his game. Like, you know when he walks in there, like, that's that man. Like, if you've ever gone to the gym to go hoop or go play, do something, and it's always that one person that walks in and it's like, yep, that's that guy. That's the person we got to worry about. And for me, like, I respect Steph game, but no, for me, it's Klay Thompson.
Mama, there go that man.
That man. That man.
His mama called him Klay. I'm gonna call him Klay.
Oh shit!
Oh shit! Jordan, we have to meet up because I'm bringing my son, and he would love it.
Yes, we're gonna make that happen.
Cool. All right. Any last thoughts, you guys? Because this is I don't know, a big kind of game. I mean, I feel like I don't sleep on the Cavs this year.
I mean, let's also see what impact Dante DiVincenzo has when he comes back too, because I think he might be back tomorrow as well. So we'll see if that helps out the bench, at least defensively, tomorrow.
Yes, we need all the help on defense we can get.
Oh yeah.
Cool. Well, thanks, Evan, for coming on, and you guys for adjusting your schedules. I appreciate you. Love having you on, and Shell as always, and Jordan, good having you back as well.
Thank you. You all.
You guys are like my regulars. I love it. So that's gonna do it for tonight's show, and always go Warriors.
Let them know we coming to Oakland. We coming to San Fran. Wherever y'all play at,
come on, let y'all know.
I don't know.
Come on out.
I don't know about y'all, but let them know it just doesn't have a nice ring to
it. Yeah, because we've got what total.
We're gonna have to do a reaction show later on the weekend.
Oh, absolutely.
We're gonna have to do a reaction show.
Ooh, that would be fucking sweet. Love it.
Oh yeah.
Right.
And also, something that was scary. I don't know why I just thought about this. Do y'all realize in that Sacramento Kings game, because y'all lost to Sacramento too, right?
Yeah, we did. We won.
Warriors won.
We just, yeah.
You realize that team had 2 offensive rebounds in the second half?
You talking about Sacramento did or Cleveland did?
Yeah, they had Sacramento only had 2 offensive rebounds.
I believe they're not that big of a team. I believe it.
They're up and down because they seem legit, and then they
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they have firepower. Then obviously, because I think that was the game that Darius Garland had a bad shooting night. Which I mean, for the most part, if you play against the Kings, one of your guards is going to have an off night. There's a reason why Davion Mitchell's nickname is Off Night. But yeah. So no, that makes sense. But I mean, honestly, and again, like me being the Atlanta person I am, shout out Kevin Huerter. I'm so happy for him that he's been balling the way he has been. And
I was surprised. I missed that news that he had got moved.
Yeah, so we traded, I think, for both the Holiday brothers, we being the Hawks. So, but no, like he's been killing it early on while he's been in Sacramento. So I'm happy for him too. But
I was shocked that I know that Halliburton got traded. I thought that was a terrible move that Sac did, but it is what it is.
A lot of Sac fans thought that too.
Yeah, but terrible. You see now who y'all got. Y'all got that man when it comes to defense.
Off night.
And I don't think Sabonis. I always said Sabonis is overrated, but I'm probably alone in that. I don't know.
I mean, he's a great. I mean, especially as a 5, he is a phenomenal playmaker. Now
he's a stat patter.
Well, I mean, if you're used to playing on like somewhat bad teams, anytime you have good numbers, you're technically a stat patter. So it still remains to be seen if he can have those good numbers while being on a playoff contending team. But that's what the Kings are supposed to be this year, is a playoff contender. So we'll see.
Right. Well, guys, I'm glad you came on to rep your teams. And, can't wait to see the outcome of this game. Let's always go Dubs. That's right, Shell.
You're going to be saying they let us know after the match.
I say ain't no Go Falcons right now. They just got on my old nerves.
I just got a notification about Baker's head, but what happened?
You said about what?
Baker's ugly headbutt.
Oh, I don't even know if Baker did. I was just so bad at watching our team look. I didn't even see what Baker did.
Oh shit!
I'm gonna have to look into it. And to all y'all Baker bros out there, the man is trash. Thank you. I'm so glad that man is off this team.
Preach. Preach.
That's why his statue at Oklahoma don't look like him, because he's trash. All right, Miss Lady, I'm gonna let you go for real, man.
All right, love y'all. And for everybody watching, don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, like, and leave a comment, a nice one. And don't forget to watch all the shows. You guys will see everybody that you saw tonight on all the previous shows. Bye.
Not the statue.
Love y'all. Bye.